Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Jamie. This will be a reading for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements. If you're new to tarot, just know that not every Cancer reading can resonate for you. It just can't work like that. So if you feel like I'm wrong or this isn't your story, then you're absolutely right, and please just disregard it. I'm going to pull cards like King, Queen, Emperor, and Empress. Those cards describe a really specific personality. They have nothing to do with the sex or gender of the person that we're describing. So if I pull an Emperor, I could be talking about a woman. If I pull a Queen, I could be talking about a man. There's just no gender. If you want to catch more readings, you can subscribe to the channel by clicking subscribe below. If you click on the bell, it will notify you whenever I post readings. If you want to become a member, you can click join. It'll take you to the membership tab and kind of show you everything that I do over there. All right. Give me the energy for Cancer, please. Why are you being so messy? Okay. Okay, so we have you and your loved ones are safe. New moon in Cancer. Depression. Grudge holder and played out. All right, so the overall energy here is the Nine of Wands. We have the Five of Pentacles, the Devil, Capricorn energy, the Page of Cups, the King of Pentacles, the Sun in the reverse, Leo energy, the Hermit, Virgo energy, and at the bottom of the deck we have the King of Swords, Some of you are making a decision here to accept something here. And that's what I feel like it is ultimately. To say, you know what? There's a person here that feels like they need to teach me something, or, there's like, just somebody in your life who decided that they were going to exit and not talk to you. Okay? Now, this is just out of toxicity. You know what I mean? There could have been an open conversation, like you've been around and willing to talk to them, or go, whatever's going on here. This person is actively choosing to not talk to you or to be no contact. Maybe their story is that you're toxic. They're also toxic. Maybe the two of you are toxic for one another. But what you're not doing anymore is sitting around unhappy. You're fucking tired of being unhappy over it. You're tired of worrying about this person, the depression. You're tired of going through the different motions with it. You're tired of grieving a situation with a person. Now, this could be a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius person. I also obviously have some Capricorn and some Leo here. I feel like it's just that you've already grieved the process. You know what I mean? I think at this point you're willing to accept if someone doesn't want to speak to you. But what you're not going to do is sit around trying to figure out why. You know, I think somebody's been sitting around for a long time feeling real guilty about something when it really just doesn't have something to do with them. You get what I'm saying? It would be like, you know, someone just abandons me and the fucking kids. You know what I mean? And you know, this is all just to like teach me a lesson, but like they're also just like hurting everybody else involved. They're like seeing me as toxic, but like clearly this is also a toxic behavior, you know what I mean? But like if you don't want to fucking come around and handle your responsibilities, then you're not going to, and there just ain't shit I can do about it. That's where Cancer is right now. You know what I mean? It's that friend that decided they're not going to fucking talk to you because you said something they didn't like when you were just looking out for them, and you've been open and honest and waiting and willing to talk to them, and they don't want to, then fuck them. You accept it. You're not going to sit around feeling guilty and being upset over it, you know? It's like you're accepting that someone's holding a grudge and you're going to allow it. You've done your part, everything that you can control, being, you know, open and vulnerable and even willing to talk it out or whatever, you know, and you just can't control whether another person's going to have something to do with you or not, you know. The problem with this is I think that this person is banking on that emotional response. They're, you know, it's like they actually want you to be hurt by withdrawing from you. And so if you're actually moving past this, you know, that could be why this energy is coming up. But let's go ahead and look. Why is this relevant right now for the King of Swords? Because I get why it's relevant for Cancer. The Three of Pentacles. The Fool. More Aquarius energy. The Two of Pentacles. The Four of Swords. Death. Scorpio energy. Judgment. More Scorpio energy. And at the bottom of the deck, the Ten of Wands. And I have Justice behind that. More Libra energy. It's because this distance is ending. I think as you're accepting that somebody has made their decision and that actually it's their right to make that decision, they've decided they made the wrong decision. I see someone definitely, you know, they went out there and they learned a lesson, whoever this is, you know what I mean? And I think it's been a minute. I want to say 5 weeks to 5 months since you've literally heard from this person. The last time you could have heard from this person was in Scorpio season. So that's, you know, the end of October, early November. But, you know, it's like after there's been all this distance, I feel like now they're starting to struggle. They're struggling with wherever they went to or whatever's going on over there. There's like something ending in their life. There's something that's not working out for them. And it's a life lesson, though, you know, like whoever this is, they had to go out there and learn it on their own, you know, but I'm just not so sure that when they come back around that this is going to be, you know, it's like they're not getting this depressed, sad version of you that they could be expecting where you genuinely miss them. It's not that you don't miss them. It's just at this point you've accepted that this person has some pretty fucking toxic behaviors and... you know, if they don't want to talk, they don't want to talk. You're cool with that. And, you know, I think the problem here is that a person may not get the response that they're expecting. You know, I feel like after some distance, like I said, they're expecting that like things would have changed between you and them. You would have definitely learned by now not to stress them out or overwhelm them because they'll just, you know, but actually they learned that you can't just, you know, like just because you're having, you know, some type of emotion and, you know, you get into some mood, you know, like you start making all these major life decisions from there, you may actually pay for it later. But I think here it's like they also made you pay for it, and it's, it seems kind of unfair, you know what I mean? It's like someone was gonna fucking teach you something, and they did. They taught you that, like, just how malicious and, like, vindictive they really can be. But they were expecting that by, breaking communication, or like getting away from a situation with you, whoever this person is to you, by no longer contacting you, that you would have taken this so far to heart that basically they'd be able to come back and sort of walk all over you. That's kind of the energy that I'm getting. Because they went and they burnt a bridge somewhere else. And I think they have a habit of doing this. So the King of Wands, the Six of Pentacles, the Eight of Pentacles, and at the bottom of the deck, the Queen of Cups, and the Page of Wands. All you need to know right now is that this person's trying to figure out how to get back into your graces. The correct actions to take, because they know they fucked up. They know that they made a mistake. They are going to reach out. They're trying to figure out right now how to work you, how to get you to let them back in. It's like I said, though, I feel like somebody is expecting to come back to that really emotional Cancer side, where, like, they're wounded and they're, like I said, at one point in time you were really ready and willing to talk it out with a person. And now that I think, it's like you're not, I'm just saying, like, this, when this person comes around, they're expecting you to be generous and to give back into a situation being how it, like, once was or something, like they expected the changes that needed to be made here to all be on your end. And so I would say you definitely need to have some boundaries with a person. That's what I would advise, like, if somebody is expecting your good nature and to take advantage of you, perhaps you should not allow someone to take advantage. That doesn't mean that you can't have something to do with them. That doesn't, you know what I mean? It just means that you need to have firm boundaries. You can't just let people walk back in and treat you how they once treated you or do you filthy again. There has to be boundaries. For some of you, you can't deal with this person. And that's your right, Okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow.